everybody. Welcome to the Perustopia live show where we're going to be discussing Rebel of the Sands by Alwyn Hamilton.
Woo!
Woohoo! I'm so excited because I read this book at the very beginning of the month, so it's been quite a while since I read this book, but I do have some things in my head that I would like to discuss in this live show. As you guys know, this live show is a spoilery live show. If you want to check out unspoilery stuff, definitely go check out our reviews. My review is going up tomorrow on this book that is spoiler-free, so stay tuned for that. And Regan has hers already up, so definitely go check out hers after this live show.
And of course, if you have any questions, use the hashtag Perustopia. So like, if you want to have any questions about us generally, if you have any questions about the book, hashtag Perustopia.
Perustopia.
Do you want to start, or do you want me to start on the thoughts of the book?
Do you want to start this time? I think I started last time.
Yeah, sure. So I thought this was a very good first book of a series. I really enjoyed the setting. I think the setting was probably my favorite thing. I liked the desert western setting. I appreciated kind of the alternate history or the historical elements that was kind of pulled in as well. I felt like the descriptions of the sand and the grit were just done really, really well. I also just thought the whole thing was like very consumable. It was short, it was fast-paced, it was great, and I felt like it had a lot to offer, especially for later books in the series. I felt like it set up a lot of things to be explored later on. Amani as a character I thought was hilarious, and I thought it was just like a really good, solid baseline, like 3-star first book in a series that's going to grow and get better.
I have like the same thoughts. Like, I really enjoyed this book. I actually really enjoyed Amani as a character because she actually had the most interesting character development to me, because she started off very strong and seemed very confident in herself, and then she kind of regressed, but not in a bad way, in a way that was realistic, because what she found out, and I'm gonna be kind of vague with this so we can discuss it later on, what she found out that the power she has like really set her back. It is not something that you take in stride realistically. Something that kind of pushes you back, and you have to be like, wait, what? And then she kind of gains her strength later on, almost towards the end. And I really appreciated that about how Alwyn Hamilton did that in this book series, because like this book could have easily gone wrong because she could have been too strong, had strong from the start, and been too strong and too unrealistic, but she wasn't, and I really enjoyed that. I think that the whole aspect of it being like Middle Eastern but also Western and fantasy was a very interesting thing, and it was very, don't you agree that that's so many different types of themes and types of worlds there? And I think Alwyn Hamilton did a really good job of kind of putting them together, and I think without the other elements in that, like with only like a Western, it would have been kind of bland, especially the magical elements too.
I liked the magical elements. First with Amani, I thought she was an interesting female protagonist lead because I felt like she was flawed, for sure. She was strong, but she was flawed kind of morally in a lot of ways, which I thought was an interesting... In the beginning of the book, like, she was so desperate to get out of there. She literally left, like, her best friend to die, but she's like, I gotta go. And, you know, in a lot of ways, like, the desperation was there, it makes sense. And, like, she was flawed. Like, she did some stuff that I was like, dang, girl, like, that was not the nicest. But she slowly, I think, began to, like, grow as a character and became a little more, like, she got a purpose and something she could get behind, which I think helped her kind of direct her personality in positive ways. But I thought Amani was really funny. I liked her wit, and I liked her... I don't know. I liked the shooting element a lot. I think I'm just a sucker for Westerns. Like, as a kid, Westerns were pretty much always my favorite movie. So I just really liked that setting. I thought the magic was...
And you live in Texas!
Yeah, I know. I'm a cliche. Okay, I get it. Maybe that's why. Who knows? But I want the one area that I want it to be developed more, and I'm hoping in later books it will be developed, was I thought the magic was a little... not very well explained. And like, especially at the end, things kind of got rushed to me, and I got confused about who was who and what was what and how things worked. And I was like, wait, everyone take a breath. Let's explain this a little better. And I think it will get explained better in later books, but I felt the magic system, like, for me, like, the biggest strength of this book was the setting.
Yeah.
The biggest flaw was the lack of development in the magic system.
No, I totally agree, because as I think there was definitely room for it to be explored more in this book, because this book is actually not that long. I think that there could have been definitely some more room to be explained, especially since Amani, she's discovering this stuff from her in her own way throughout the series, and I think that throughout this book she's discovering for herself, but I feel like there could have been points in this novel for her to be better explained, like the magic system, and so I think there were places that could have been kind of just explained more and explored, but like you said before, it's the first book in the series, and I think that when an author does that, I think that there's a reason behind not giving up too much information right away. Yeah, so I think that's definitely interesting. One thing I wanted to hear from you is, did you expect Jin to, do you see where his plotline was going? I thought it was pretty predictable where he was going. Not in a bad way, but it was still, kind of, I knew what was happening.
I didn't necessarily know he was, exactly who he was, but, I mean, I think we just read enough YA books to know that the handsome stranger is always more than he seems.
Special.
Right, you know what I mean? He is special, she's special, everyone's special. The main characters of the book are just very special. So, yeah, I mean, I wasn't surprised at all. I assumed he was attached to the royal family in some way, or the rebels or something. I will say I felt so there's it's a double-edged sword. At the end of the book, when all of those new characters were introduced, and I loved the diversity and the interactions of all the characters, I loved that. But at the same time, I was so confused about who was who.
Yeah. Oh my God, same.
I was I don't remember who this is. Wait, hold up. I just got introduced to 10 characters at once, and I'm I can't remember everything. I can't remember.
No, I.
The one thing I have to say, I do love the genie powers, because it just makes me think of Avatar: The Last Airbender or Naruto, because she can control sand. I'm are you Dara from the desert? That's what I think of.
Sorry, I'm picking off something off my dog's back.
Oh no, I'm gonna go grab some water.
Okay, so I'm gonna discuss some other things that I really liked about this book. So I was kind of hesitant going into this book, not because it sounded bad or anything. Update, I got the thing off my dog's back.
Nice. Okay.
I'm usually not that when there's a western, I'm not always in love with the western setting all the time. Sometimes I am, but I don't want it to be stereotypical. So that's what I was really worried about going into this book. But I think that it was handled very well and in moderation, and it didn't have too much of a western type of feel. It had much more of a Middle Eastern, but also had a western feel that made it feel familiar but also different, and I really liked that about it.
Yeah, it had this setting, this interesting mix of a setting, which was just my favorite part of the book. It had this fairy tale, magical setting, but then it mixed in this interesting industry element, which I think is more later, the machines. But it's I would definitely say it's a flintlock fantasy. Do you know what a flintlock fantasy is?
Yeah.
Okay, for people who don't know what a flintlock fantasy is, it's basically a world that has magic. It's a high fantasy world. Everything's unique, but they also have guns, so there's a machinery element. I'm coughing so much lately. Anyway, so I thought that was a really interesting contrast, this magic, this old world magic mixed with
don't die
with new magic.
Look at all the dust from cleaning.
I'm gonna mute myself for a second.
Okay. So I won't be coughing, but oh, poor Regan. I hate coughing. No, but yeah, this is a very flintlock fantasy because they did have guns and they did have these types of aspects to it, and I thought that was really cool. They whenever I see that stuff in fantasy, I think another book series that's kind of like that you guys have probably read has been Red Queen. But Red Queen's not really, it's a fantasy, but it's also a dystopian novel. Okay, Oliver, do you want to go down? Leave me. Whatever. But in her books, it's pretty much the first book. It's it's a fantasy, but then you kind of realize that it actually is a very, very futuristic dystopian novel, but it also has this fantastical elements to it as well, and they use guns and stuff. So I thought that was a good comparison. But I thought that was a really cool element to this book series because it had this familiarity to it, but it also had this very different type of thing. Oh, she's back!
Hi. But basically, oh my God, if I start coughing again. Basically, I'm gonna talk quieter.
Yeah.
Basically, sorry, lost my train of thought. Classic Regan. basically, normally I'm not a huge Flintlock fantasy fan just because I'm so, like, traditional medieval magic fantasy. But because the Flintlock fantasy in this novel was Western inspired, I was, like, on board. I just love the idea of someone being, like, a fat, like, drawing and, like, being a pew, 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 pew with, like, a pistol.
Yeah.
It's me every time. I'm into it. I buy in.
No, like, honestly, like, I agree. Like, I was talking about, I'm not sure if you heard, but I was talking about, like, Red Queen and how it could have been seen as a Flintlock fantasy because they had guns, and then turns out it's, like, dystopian. But that's not a spoiler, guys, because literally I assumed it even before I started reading that series. But I think that I agree with the sense that, like, if it's done well, it's done well, like the Flintlock fantasy. But, like, if it's not done well, it's something that's kind of like, why is it here? Really, Oliver? So I literally got up to let my dog out of my door, and then he just comes back like a second later.
Classic.
Not lazy, baby.
My dog got in so much trouble today.
Why? What did she do this time?
I was making my bed, and, like, she's never had an accident in the house in, like, 2 years. And then she pees on my bedspread while I'm making it. I'm like, seriously? And I, like, you know, like, I yell at her. And then she's literally just, like, moping around for, like, 3 hours. And I'm like, well, don't pee on my bedspread.
I mean, like, that's, like, story of my life. My dogs have no respect for me or my room, even though it's their room now, so they don't pee in it anymore. But literally, we had to recarpet our whole entire house because our dogs have accidents everywhere. We tried training them, okay?
Yeah, it's hard sometimes.
Especially with these small dogs. They sneak around and they get past.
I know. They're like, it's hard to keep track of them. They're like sneaky. Well, I mean, I can hear my dog breathing from a mile away, but sometimes it can be really hard.
Okay, guys, so ask in the chat that's in this video down below any questions that you have for us, or on the hashtag Perustopia on Twitter. I'll look on the chat down below, Regan, if you want to look at the hashtag. Need to get to the chat first, guys.
Yes. Okay, so I see a question. Where do you feel the story will go in the next book? Do you think it will get even better? What do you think, Sasha?
So honestly, yes, I do, because I think that this book, like, this book is one of the books, like, I feel like first books in series, like, they're always kind of like they're testing the waters, and it's trying to figure out where it belongs. And I definitely think that this will get better, even though it was not a bad book to start off with. It does have improvement. It has places that it can expand on, and I feel like this world is so large and it can get so good. I think that I also want a less predictable element to it, just in the sense, I wanted to something to surprise me. Like, honestly, I want to be surprised. Like, I kind of knew that she was going to have a power from the beginning, because the very last line in this summary of this book is embracing her power. So I wish I didn't know that she was going to have a power.
Right. I generally never read the entire way through of a synopsis. I read the first paragraph. To me, in a synopsis, just like, if anyone's wondering about how because I hate to be spoiled, and I do feel like synopsises 9 times out of 10 have too much information, always, and it drives me crazy. So I generally only read the first paragraph of a synopsis, because it just has enough. It's the first part of the book, and then I'll be like, okay, I get an idea of what's gonna happen. But to answer the question that was asked, I do think I think the second book is gonna be longer. 2, I think it will be better, because inherently they're going to be exploring more of the world. There's just so much more to see, so much more interaction to happen. There's more characters to have, involved. Like, the slew of those characters at the end, who I really liked, but, like, I can't remember.
Like, any of the names besides, like, Jin and Amani.
Many of them at once. But I liked them, and I'm excited to see them later. I think Shazad was my favorite of the new characters. She was like, I always love a good, like, badass, run in the pack, everyone's scared of her character. Always. Big fan. I did think it was interesting that the weapon that they were pursuing the whole time ended up being the kid from, like, the beginning of the book that she could have saved and, like, ultimately not let any of this happen. Like, if she wasn't so selfish.
Mm-hmm.
I guess selfish might be a strong word. If she wasn't so unwilling to, like, risk her neck, potentially all of the problems at the end of this book could have been resolved.
No, yeah. No, I think so too. And like, side note before I get into what like I think, somebody like put in the comments, it's like her dog is seeing a ghost. And I'm like, I legitimately think my dog sees ghosts, like no joke. I wake up in the middle of the night to my dog Miles, barking just at nothing. Like I go downstairs where he is because he likes sitting downstairs on the cool floor and he's just barking at nothing.
That's creepy.
At a wall. And I'm like, stop. Anyways, side note.
My dog barks at the vacuum cleaner and the Swiffer. So when I was cleaning today, she literally like freaks out. She's like, "Rah, rah, 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 rah." I'm like, Millie, calm down. It's just a vacuum. It's not going. Yes.
It's not a monster. Somebody asked, what's our favorite scene? I actually have a favorite scene, and that is, I have two favorite scenes. At the beginning when they're on the train and they get caught. I thought that was a very fun, like, chase scene. And I also liked how, I like that because it led them not to make the book go too fast because, in the sense, this book takes place over a couple months. Like, yeah, and I like that. And I also like the scene when they were attacked by the nightmares.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, that was a good scene.
I thought that was really good.
One of my favorite scenes was actually the beginning, because I'm just, like, a sucker for this. The competition and the beginning part, he's just shooting. I love a good scene with a girl who's cross-dressing to be a boy, and then she kicks everyone else's ass in a competition where she's not supposed to be good at. That's what I live for, okay? These are the things I live for.
No, I think that that was such a good, it was a good opening scene because, in a sense, it showed you her character, and I really like opening scenes that really just thrust you into the world, but also show you what this world contains and the character and their motives and stuff. I really like that. Yeah,
for sure. It was just good. It was just good.
So, all in all, do you want to just give our final thoughts unless we have another question?
Yeah, let's look at some other questions.
Yeah, because some people are talking about Red Queen because I talked about it for a second.
Yeah. No, there's not a Red Queen live show.
Oh, how about we do, let's recommend some books. If you guys like this book, let's recommend a book that they would also like, because I think that I have a few good suggestions.
Oh, that's a good idea.
If you guys like Rebel the Sands, I think you would definitely love 1,001 Nights. Wait,
that's a good one.
1,000 Nights. Let me get that.
I would say The Wrath and the Dawn, just for the setting element.
Yeah.
I mean, this one's more character-driven, but it has a very immersive setting as well, which I think would be really, really good.
And this one is also, these are both a part of the same retellings of 1,001 Arabian Nights, which is a very old tale that I actually, personally, is my favorite classic. I consider it a classic because, like, it is a classic.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
this one is really good.
I'd also say Vengeance Road if you like the Western elements, because it's a Western. So, like, if you want something that's, like, more straight up Western with, like, a beautiful cover.
Shirt.
What can I say? Everything in my life coordinates.
But actually.
I wish.
Your glasses look nice, by the way, your new ones.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, these I still have and wear my red ones. I just wanted to have, like, another option.
No, they look really cute. I don't know where my glasses went.
You lost them?
I mean, they're somewhere in my room. It's just like I haven't been in my house.
Behind you, Sasha? I literally can see them, I think, in the frame. Look behind your shoulder on your dresser.
No, those are my sunglasses.
Are those your glasses? Because I'm staring right at them.
That's like, you're an idiot, Sasha. Those are your glasses. Like, oh my gosh, I am so that person who would have their glasses on their head and just not.
That's my mom. She has like 3 glasses on her head at this.
That was like my mom too. Like, she was like, "Where's my glasses?" And I'm like, "They're on your head, mom."
Like, get it together, woman.
Come on.
Get it together.
Okay, guys, ask some more questions. Some of these questions are mixed. Now you guys are talking about Hush Hush.
Oh no. I refuse. I hate that book.
Oh my gosh, this is the thing about those books, and like books that I read like when I was like much younger and much a more beginning young adult reader. I love them, but now I want to go back and read them because I'm very curious of what I would think of them now.
I mean, like I read that right post Twilight because, you know, that's what you watch. That's what you read post Twilight, and I still didn't even like it then. I was like, Twilight, I can understand. that's realistic to happen. But this is just going too far. Like, that was me in 8th grade. I was very critical. I had my critical review eye.
Oh my God. I can so see little Regan doing that.
I was too much, to be honest.
Do you have any other questions? I'm just saying hush hush questions.
Let me see. I'll just double check. No, I think we've covered most of the questions that are being asked.
Okay.
Should we talk about what we're gonna read?
Oh, you guys are gonna like this one.
Yeah, we thought it would be fun. So basically,
we have so many throwbacks.
Yeah, in preparation for the Cursed Child coming out, we kind of thought it would be really fun to read Harry's beginning and read Harry Potter Book 1,
Woo!
The Sorcerer's Stone, for our book club pick. Because 1, we love Harry Potter, and 2, that's all the reasons you need.
Yeah, and I just started reading the Harry Potter series, as you guys know, because like I struggled with dyslexia when I was younger, when everybody was reading them, so I couldn't personally read them. So finally, I got around to reading them, and I'm loving them. Also, side note to all you people who are like, are you gonna finish it soon? Yes, I will. But do you guys understand that I'm reading it for the first time, and everybody's telling me, either read it right away or like savor it, because this is the first and last time you'll read it for your first time. And I'm all for savoring it because I understand like the pain.
I know you could read it, but have you not read the last one yet?
Last 2.
You haven't read the last 2?
No.
Wow.
I know.
It's getting time, Sasha. It's getting time.
I know,
Maybe
but like,
you know, will re-inspire you.
I don't want them to be finished yet, and that's.
I understand, but then when you finish, you just start them all over again. That's what I do.
The first time. So yeah, I plan on reading it actually at the end of this summer.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
A good time.
You got that free time, summertime.
Not much free time this summer.
I no longer have. I just work every day.
We missed you at VidCon.
Adulthood. I was like, no, I can't go. I have to work. And I really like my job. Like, I'm not complaining about my job because I really enjoy what I do and where I work. But
and that's what matters.
But I did want to go to VidCon.
It was hot. It was hot.
Like physically hot or like hot? Like it was so hot because it was.
It was physically hot. Like, oh my God.
Well, it is in Texas too, so.
I literally look like a crazy person with my hair right now. Like, it looks like I'm cousin it. Anyways, guys, so if you definitely want to go and join us for the next readathon that we're having with Harry Potter and the not the Cursed Child. That one's coming out on the 31st of July, though, fun fact. But if you guys want to join us for the Sorcerer's Stone, definitely go down below, and our Goodreads book club page is down there, so definitely click on it and join it. It'll be lots of fun, and I know that I forgot to put update the Goodreads page for this book club, but don't worry, I'm going to be putting Revel the Sands up there if you guys want to go and read it if you haven't already. Yeah, so I think that covers it all, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Awesome, perfect. Well, thank you guys for joining us. I hope you enjoyed it. We'll be announcing when the next live show will be very soon, so stay tuned for that. Thank you all for watching, guys, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.